All right, so the World Cup is going on this summer and I am hooked. And I want to take today's video to do something kind of fun. I want to rank all 96 jerseys from the 48 World Cup teams. So that's home and away jerseys. And I have 7 tiers that I'm going to be ranking them into. We have perfect, very nice, pulls it off, does the job, missed the mark, boring, and big oof. I'm going to try to distribute the jerseys as evenly as possible between these tiers, so I might have to be kind of brutal at times. We got a lot to get through, so let's start out in alphabetical order with Algeria. So this is the Algerian home kit, and I like the way that the logo and the crest are centered. I think it looks nice. That can't be said for all of the jerseys that do that. The trim on the Adidas, the collar and the trim on the sleeves matches very nicely. I like the colors. The only kind of awkward thing about it is how the pattern kind of just fades out, but it's not the worst thing ever to me. Overall, I actually really like this jersey and I'd put it into very nice. Now on to Algeria's away kit, and right off the bat, I gotta say I don't really like the way they added that triangle to the collar. It's really awkward. Just kind of throws off the whole jersey. Overall, the jersey's fine. I think it's a little boring. There's somewhat of a stripe pattern going on, but it's not prevalent enough to really leave an impression on you. So I think it's doing the job. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in, does the job. Up next, we have last year's winners, Argentina, with their home jersey, and they're sticking with their classic white and light blue stripes, as they always do. But this year they're adding a little bit of like a gradient to the light blue to make it really pop. I think that's working nicely. And the dark Adidas stripes on the shoulders and around the trim also add to it nicely. I'm not totally in love with the gold and the gradient. I think the gradient does work well, but it's not my favorite. So I'm not gonna put it in perfect. I'm gonna keep it in very nice. As for the away kit, yikes, I'm not a fan of this. I don't really know what they're going for here. The pattern it's interesting, but it doesn't really scream Argentina to me. It's very dark, and I just don't really think it's working as a jersey or as a design. Props to them for trying something new, but I think they missed the mark. Now for the first Nike jersey of the video, it's the Australia home jersey. And I think it's fine. It's not really good. It's not really bad. It's just the yellow and green colors that their team wears. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in, does the job. Now for the away kit, I think a lot of people are rubbed the wrong way by this color combination with the orange and the kind of dark turquoisey green that's going on. But in a weird way, I kind of like it. I like that they're doing something different. It's intriguing. It kind of makes that orange pop around the top of the jersey. I think they went for something and they pulled it off. So I'm gonna put it in, pulls it off. Now for the Austria home kit, you could kind of say that it's in the same realm as the Australia home kit where it's just the team's colors. But I think the simplicity is working really well for this jersey. It doesn't feel like it's missing anything that like the Australia jersey felt like it could use something more. This one, it feels really strong as it is. Maybe down to the fact that those stripes on the sleeves are really popping and just all the colors are playing off of each other nicely. I find it very appealing and I think it goes into very nice. But the Austria away kit, they're trying something different here, and I don't even know how to describe the pattern of this. It's kind of like a marble texture with thin gold lines going through it. I don't know, but it's weird, but it's kind of nice. It's consistent throughout, and I really don't mind it. It's definitely out there, and I'm not sure if I'd wear it, but I definitely would respect somebody if they were wearing it, and I'm gonna have to put it in, pulls it off. Now the Belgium home kit, I am so close to liking it. I want to like it, but the fire pattern just reminds me of like repeated fire emojis, and it's just kind of cringe. I don't know. There's something about it that just seems tacky. Maybe they could have made it more subtle. Maybe they could have done something a little less just like clip arty, but it's okay. I think the colors work well, and it's definitely not a bad jersey, so I think it does the job. The Belgium away kit is definitely different. Sort of like the Argentina away kit. I don't know where this pattern came from. I don't know what the story is or the thinking behind it is. It's strange, and my first reaction is no thank you. I will admit though, I saw them play in it during a game, and I think it works well when it's in action, but just looking at it here as just a jersey, I don't really like it. It just feels like it's trying to be some sort of like retro something, but seems kind of tacky and just confusing. I'm gonna put it in miss the mark. Now for the Bosnia home jersey, and right off the bat, it's not very special. The little design that they went for with the thin yellow lines, it's not working for me. And overall, it's just not very memorable. I'm gonna have to put it in boring. And considering that the away jersey uses the exact same template, it's probably also gonna go in boring. I will say it is nice to see the sleeves blue and the body white. It gives it something more, but yeah, boring. All right, on to Brazil's home kit. And over the years, Brazil has had some iconic jerseys. I mean, just the yellow and green is iconic on its own, but I'm not sure if this year's is one of those standout jerseys. I don't really like what Nike does with the collar, with that little triangular piece that sticks down. It just seems really awkward to me, and the different kind of shades of green, like one's dark and one's neon, and it just seems like there's different ideas going on here, and it's not really appealing to me the way that I wish it did. I don't think it's a bad jersey, but I don't think it's a good jersey. I'm gonna put it in does the job. All right, so up next we have the Brazil away jersey, and I'm sorry to say it, it's a big oof. The pattern is like a Rorschach test. It's confusing, it looks blotchy, it's kind of gross actually. The color doesn't really work for me, especially with the light blue on the side. I don't know if you can see that, but that just kind of stands out in the wrong way. And I really don't like the centered crest with the right logo. And maybe this is just me, but why is Jordan producing jerseys? Like, that's a basketball brand. I don't really get it. There's a lot of things wrong with this, and I just have to put it in big oof. All right, Canada's home jersey. Canada, one of the host nations. I don't know exactly what to say about this one. I mean, you could say they kind of went for something different here, but it's not really that, ambitious. It's kind of more boring. Like, yeah, we get it. It's a leaf and kind of alternates with the dark red and the light red. Doesn't really look that good to me. I think I'm gonna put it in boring. It's not doing much for me. And the Canada away jersey is another Nike away jersey that just is hideous. What is this? It's like, at first I thought it was like broken glass, but it's kind of just more like dust and stuff, and kind of with these leaves. Could they not think of anything other than leaves for Canada? Like, just give them something that's not so obvious, It's trying to be something kind of modern and grungy and trendy, but it just comes out a mess. Yeah, big oof. All right, the Cape Verde home jersey. I don't really have too much of a problem with it. I'd probably put it in the top half of the tiers, but I just don't think it's really that memorable. I wish they would have done something a little bit more special. I think it, passes the eye test, but I wish there was something more. And for that, a little harsh. I'm sorry, Cape Verde. I'm just gonna put it in does the job. And I think I'd just be too cruel if I put the away jersey any lower. It also does the job. All right, on to Colombia's home jersey, an Adidas jersey. Adidas usually does pretty well, and I think they did well here. The colors are bright, the pattern is festive, it really gives you the idea of Colombia. It's kind of exotic, it's tropical, it's very nice. It's going in very nice. And I really can't complain about the Colombia away jersey. To me, this is beautiful. The pattern is fantastic. I don't know what it reminds me of, but it really does feel Colombian. I don't know, it's just giving that essence. And the colors are working so well. They got that like kind of green, all of them got that green hue to them, even though it's yellow and blue. They just work so well together. I would definitely buy this jersey. I'd wear it all the time. It's going in perfect. Now on to the Croatia home jersey. And Croatia always goes with this checkerboard pattern, and I think it can kind of paint them into a corner when they're doing their jersey designs because it's just a lot to work with, especially with this center white stripe that gradients out to the checkerboard pattern. It's kind of obnoxious to look at, but I think they did the best that they could with this concept. It's not really bad, but it's not really good either. I think it does the job. And once again, the away jersey for Croatia follows the same pattern, same template. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put it in, does the job as well. All right, now for Curacao, the smallest nation to qualify for the World Cup. This is their home jersey, and I think Adidas did it again. It's very nice. The kind of circular rippling out effect on the sleeves is really cool. I haven't seen that before. And I don't really mind that the body is just a solid blue. It really makes those sleeves pop. I really like it. I'm gonna put it in very nice. Now for the Curacao away jersey, which has been getting a lot of attention and praise online. And I tend to agree, it's very nice. I like the kind of off-white cream color with these bold, thick, dark blue lines. It just works. It's a bold look, but what really sets it apart is the stripes on the shoulders. Each of the stripes is a different color, and I just think that's so, like, it's playful, it's cute. I don't know, it really matches the energy of Curacao. Yeah, I really like this jersey. Wouldn't change anything about it. It's going in perfect. All right, Czech Republic home jersey. It's almost there. There's one big problem for me, and it's the button on the collar. Honestly, I hate that button. It's really just, why is it there? I don't understand. It's so awkward. It just seems out of place. I don't mind the like little, pattern that's going on around the back of the collar and the sleeves, but I would get rid of the button and I'd have that collar pattern go all the way around. And if they did that, then maybe it would go and pulls it off, but this is not pulling it off. This is missing the mark. And I'm sorry to the Czech Republic, but more bad news for the away jersey. I don't like this one. I'm not sure what's going on with the pattern, but they went with something very like ornate and fancy. It's almost like it's like glass, but it's not working. And the gold that they chose to pair with just comes across more brown and like wet sand. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to put it in big oof. I don't want to look at it anymore. All right, on to the DR Congo, which I love the team. I love the story. They almost beat England. It really is inspiring, but this jersey doesn't seem too inspired. They really went for something here. It's like a zebra pattern, but only in the middle section, but the zebra is blue. There's like the flag in the middle, but it's hard to tell because the blue is the same as the jersey. I don't really understand what's going on. I think this pattern could work for like, funny disco pants, but for a World Cup jersey, I think it's a big oof. And I'm really sorry to DR Congo, but I think the away jersey might be joining the home jersey in big oof. It could go and miss the mark. I think there's potential, in this pattern that they got going on, but it's really just not working for me. It's a big oof. All right, moving on to Ecuador and their home jersey. I don't think I need to explain too much this one, but yeah, I think it's gonna go in boring. It's just a solid yellow jersey with some blue trim. Definitely needs something more going on for it. Now you might think I'm crazy after what I just said, but I actually really like the Ecuador away kit. I really like a collar, and I think they just commit to the simplicity here. This dark blue just all over, but if you look closely on the part of the collar here and along the side, there's a subtle trim pattern that I really like. It just feels classy. It feels like, they did something really nice without trying too hard, and I really like it. I'm gonna go ahead and just put it in, pulls it off. All right, now on to Egypt's home jersey, and the pattern here is crazy. It's definitely inspired by the pyramids, but it's like pyramids on drugs and you're tripping, and also you're in the future, and I don't even know. It's a little too much, and it's weird how abruptly it just stops at the sleeves, and it's close to working. It is very close to working, but I don't think it does it. I'm putting it in miss the mark. Now the Egypt away kit is kind of taking the same ideas as the home kit, but doing them better. It's very subtle. It's in the background. If you look closely, it's interesting, but at first glance, it's just nice. I think it's a definite improvement, and I'm gonna put it in, pulls it off. All right, now on to England with their Nike home jersey, and Nike's back again with that little triangle underneath the collar. Still don't like it. I don't understand it. But overall, this jersey just isn't doing much. It's pretty boring. And one of our tiers is titled boring, so I think I'm gonna have to put it there. All right, and now the England away kit with that really rich red and the centered crest and the logo. I think the centered crest and logo, it's not as bad as some of the other examples of that, especially when the crest is centered and the logo's on the right. But still, it's not really doing a whole lot for me. I think if I was being generous, I could say it does the job because, it's a jersey, it's doing what it needs to do. But once again, I think it's gonna lean towards boring. Sorry, England. All right, now on to another one of the favorites of the tournament, France with their home jersey, also made by Nike. Now this Nike template I really like. I like the collar, just that white, clean color on top of the dark blue. And this pattern, it's great. The zigzag, the lines, it's very dynamic, and it feels like France. It feels trendy, it feels new, it feels refreshing, but also very classic. It feels like it should be respected. It really represents their team. Everything just looks good. I have nothing that I would change, and for that reason, I'm gonna put it in perfect. Now the France away kit is also very nice. I like the trim that's around the bottom of the sleeves. It's the French flag colors. I think that's a nice touch. And if you do look closely, there is that triangle on the collar of the Nike jerseys, but the collar is the same color as the rest of the jersey, so I'm gonna overlook it, and I think you can overlook it. But the jersey color, that light blue, I think it works, but it is a little awkward. I'm not sure why they went with that color. I think it contrasts nicely to their home jersey, the dark blue of their home jersey, but it's a little strange. It's not something that I associate with their team, but I like it. I think they're pulling it off. Up next is Germany with their home kit, and I think when I look at this home kit, it just reminds me of better, more iconic home kits that they've had in the past, which is good and bad. It's good to kind of do the nod to the previous jerseys, but if you're not going to do it better or in a refreshing way, it kind of just becomes an imitation of what used to be good. I'm not saying that this is bad, but I think it's just kind of doing the job. But the away kit for Germany is definitely trying something new. The dark blue with the light blue, accents. It's something that I haven't seen on a Germany jersey before. I kind of like the color palette, but I'm not sure if it fits with their like team. This is more subtle. This is something a little bit softer, and it's not what I associate with them. I also don't really like just those little pixely specks that are placed throughout the jersey. I think maybe if they took them out, it would be stronger. It feels a little harsh, but I'm gonna put it in miss the mark. All right, Ghana and their away jersey made by Puma. They're the black stars. They got that nice bold black star right in the middle. I don't really mind that too much, but it's the design that's coming off of that star that just isn't really working for me. It feels very Spider-Man and like cartoon. It seems like a weird decision. I don't think I really have too many positive things to say about it, unfortunately, and I think they could have done something better. I'm gonna put it in big oof. But I like this Ghana away jersey a lot more. I think the colors are working very nicely, and the bold and kind of geometric pattern that they went for is more suited to a jersey, unlike what they went with on the home jersey. I think it's pulling it off, and I think it is working really nicely. So I'm gonna put it in pulls it off. All right, moving on to Haiti's home kit. And I think this is another one that I'm gonna have to be a little harsh on. I don't think that this is a bad kit, but I think it's missing the mark with that design on the bottom right of it. And I think they ended up actually taking that design off, or I think they were forced to. But I'm still gonna stick with their original because that's what they intended to wear. And I just think that design, it seems a little bit like it's just ripped out of like a history book, or I don't know. There's something very flat and uninteresting about it. Like if you're gonna add motifs or like, you know, represent something in the jersey, I'd like it to be done in a more creative way than just sticking on an image. But it's definitely not bad. And so I would have put it higher, but I think I'm gonna have to put it in miss the mark. Sorry, Haiti. And everything I just said about the home kit also applies to the Haiti away kit. Yeah, missed the mark. All right, moving on to Iran's home jersey. And oddly enough, this one also has an image in kind of the bottom left. And I'm gonna contradict myself here, but I don't mind this one as much as Haiti's because it doesn't feel like it was just thrown on there. It feels like there's some sort of idea that's bringing all these kind of leopard themes together. I still don't think it's great. I'm not gonna put it too high, but I think it does the job. And the Iran away kit also has the same design, and I actually think that the red is a little nicer than the white of the home jersey. I think it just kind of pops a little more, and I really like the green accents that are there on the sleeves. But all that being said, I'm gonna keep it in, does the job. All right, on to Iraq's home jersey. I think at first glance, I would say it deserves to be and does the job. It's not really doing a lot, but when you look closer at the actual design, it kind of gets confusing. There's like 4 different sections of different geometric patterns, and each pattern is actually made up of an array of dots, and it's just a lot. It's like, why did they choose so many different things? Just stick to one and it would have been a lot better. I'm gonna have to put it in miss the mark. And I think the problems with the dots and the patterns becomes even more apparent on the Iraq away kit, because that green makes it really stand out. So it's gonna be in the same tier as the home kit. It missed the mark. All right, up next we have the Ivory Coast with their Puma home kit. And I think that this is beautiful. I mean, it's just their team colors, but I really like their team colors. The orange and the green are really nice together, but the green almost takes a backseat. It's just underneath the sleeve there and along the side. So it's really just playing like sidekick to that really nice bright orange. But the pattern of the jersey, it's not even like a true like, you know, pattern where there's things repeating. It's abstract. It's like paintbrush strokes all over it. very impressionistic, and I think it's beautiful. I really think it has a lot of energy to it. It feels like it belongs to this team. I think it really deserves to be in perfect. And the Ivory Coast away kit is a standout as well. The orange and the green are back, but they're a lot more muted. They're pastel, and they're kind of overtaken by the white. And I think that these designs are just so interesting. There's a lot going on, and I could see how someone might be kind of turned off by it and think it missed the mark. But not only do I think it's pulling it off, I think it's actually very nice. I think it has that same energy as the home kit. I think they muted the colors enough that it's not overwhelming. Yeah, it's great. I'm putting it in very nice. All right, on to Japan with their Adidas home kit. And Japan was one of my favorite teams to watch in this World Cup. Unfortunately, they lost to Brazil, but this jersey, I go back and forth between it. There's something about that like pattern with all the lines kind of converging into the logo. It just kind of rubs me the wrong way. It feels like I'm looking at the insides of the body, like it's muscles or something. I don't know, maybe I'm totally on my own on that, but there's something that just isn't really quite working for me. I wish they would have tried something different, but it's not horrible. I'm just gonna have to put it in miss the mark. Now the Japan away kit is very playful. I like the idea of the, rainbow stripes, very thin rainbow stripes on top of that off-white background. It's very fun and it's unique. I've never seen a jersey like this before. It's definitely not perfect. I can't say that I'm in love with it, but I think there's more positives than negatives. And for that reason, I'm gonna put it in, pulls it off. Now moving on to Jordan and their home kit. I don't mind the pattern on the sleeves. I think that's kind of fun. It's kind of like almost like scales or something, but overall, it's just kind of boring. It's mostly just a white shirt. So I'm gonna put it in boring. Now I do feel like I'm being a little harsh on Jordan, and this is Jordan's away kit, but I just wish they would have done something a little bit more. I do like the sleeves, but it's just missing something. So it's boring. All right, now moving on to Mexico and their Adidas home kit. Kind of similar to Germany, where this is kind of calling back to their more iconic home kits in the past, but I think it's doing it better than Germany. It's unique, it's working well. It feels like its own thing. It feels like an updated version of the previous iterations of this kind of idea. And for that reason, I'm gonna put it in, pulls it off. Now the Mexico away kit is another example of simplicity done right. Now this is it's just beautiful. The colors are working so well together. They figured out the perfect kind of like weight of the lot, like the trim. It's bold, but that like little accent of the red just adds so much. I really like this jersey. You could argue that it could be doing something a little bit more, but I don't know. I think it's very nice. And for that reason, I'm putting it in very nice. All right, moving on to Morocco with their Puma home kit. And there's positives here, but I can't get past the negatives. Once again, that singular button on the collar is back. I really don't like that. I don't understand it. And also we have the centered crest with the right aligned logo. It just doesn't feel right. It's not balanced. It's awkward. I love the trim. I love the colors going on here, but I just can't get past those things. And I'm gonna have to put it in, miss the mark. But I like the Morocco away kit a lot more. I like how the dark collar and the bold crest sit nicely on top of that gold and white pattern in the body of the jersey. It really just makes it pop. But that gold pattern, it's so classy, and I think it really represents the team and Moroccan culture perfectly. It probably deserves to be in very nice, but I would have loved to have seen that collar, those stripes repeated on the sleeves. I think that would have added more. I think there's just a few little tweaks that they could have made better, so I'm gonna be a little harsh and put it in, pulls it off. All right, up next we have the Netherlands home kit from Nike, and it's another example of the centered crest with the right side logo. I I just wish they would have moved that crest over to the left, but it is what it is. The orange is crazy. That is just the brightest highlighter orange. I kind of like it, but overall, it's pretty boring. They're not, this Nike template is just not doing enough for me. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put it into boring. Now the Netherlands away kit is definitely an improvement. I think they're trying something new here and it's definitely more interesting. Can't say that it's perfect or that I love it, but is an attempt at doing something more interesting with the kind of geometric gradient stripe through the middle. They stick to the bright orange, but some of the oranges just aren't really matching. I'm kind of left not knowing exactly where to put it. So I think I'm just gonna have to stick it in, does the job. All right, moving on to New Zealand, their Puma home kit. And right off the bat, you might think kind of boring, just white and black. But I really do like the cloud wind pattern that's going through it, kind of at this diagonal angle. There's definitely potential here with this jersey, but it is just kind of missing something. I like it, but I think there's more negatives than positives. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna have to put it in miss the mark. And I think the same thing goes for the away New Zealand kit. The pattern is a little different. This one's kind of more like leaves, which I also like. The patterns are nice, but the rest of the jersey just isn't doing anything for me. And sometimes simplicity works, but sometimes simplicity just leaves you wanting more. That's how I feel. So I'm gonna put this one in miss the mark as well. All right, moving on to Norway with their Nike home kit. And I think that this is one of Nike's best that they released for this World Cup. I really like how they took the Norway flag and said, how can we make this into the jersey and make it look nice? Because that Nike swoosh right in the crosshairs of the Norway flag, that is perfect. But also within the stripes of the Norway flag, they have this kind of Nordic, design going on in there. It's really intentional the way they did it. And there's honestly nothing I would change, which means it's going in perfect. Now the Norway away kit, they decided to go with a blackout kit, all black logo, black jersey, black crest. I don't know. It's not necessarily for me. It's kind of cool in a way, but I'm gonna put it in boring. All right, moving on to Panama's home kit made by Reebok. I really like this jersey. I think the colors are working well together. The collar is very nice, especially with that white stripe going through it. That's a classy touch. The trim is nice, and it really kind of elevates it above, does the job, into pulls it off. All right, in the Panama away kit, they lost the collar, and also they centered the logo and the crest, which I think kind of weakens the jersey a little bit. That's just me. I don't think there's any problem with this one. It's not good, it's not bad. It's right down the middle. It does the job. All right, up next we have Paraguay with their home kit from Puma, and I really like this. It really pops, the red and the white stripes. That's a really nice contrast, especially with the trim and the accent of the blue around the collar and the sleeves. It's keeping it simple, but it's having fun with it. And I think some people might take issue with the chalkiness of the stripes, but I think it's playful. I think it's unique. I think they're trying something there, and it's definitely pulling it off. So I'm gonna put it in, pulls it off. And the Panama away kit is very different. It's kind of taken on that, like, trying to do something modern, kind of trendy, and maybe on first impression you're like, that's not gonna suit a jersey or like a shirt, but I think it actually works. I think they chose the right colors here. They didn't try to do anything too crazy, and sure, it doesn't necessarily scream Paraguay or represent them in some sort of way. Maybe it does, but it doesn't to me. But I think it's just a nice looking shirt, and I think it works well. So I'm gonna have to put it in, pulls it off. All right, moving on to Portugal's home shirt made by Puma. I think this is the first Puma shirt for Portugal. They've had a long lasting partnership with Nike, but Now they're working with Puma, and I think Puma just stuck to the script nicely here. They aren't trying anything too crazy. They know what works well, and they're doing that. It's kind of fun with the waves and the stripes. I enjoy that. I think that's a good touch, but it's not doing anything that's really wowing me. But I definitely say that there's more positives than negatives here. And for that reason, I'm going to put it in pulls it off. Now, almost everything I said for the home jersey does not apply for the Portugal away jersey. They were playing it safe before, and now they just decided to go crazy. I don't understand where this came from. This is a lot to look at. It looks like it's waves, but then it transitions into a lighter color, but it's got this very harsh like arrow pointing down, and I don't know. It definitely needed more work. There might have been some sort of idea here, but it's too much for me, and I'm gonna put it in big oof. All right, up next we have the Qatar home kit, and I don't think there's anything too out of the ordinary here. I was leaning towards maybe does the job, but I think that those two zigzag stripes down the middle are actually bringing it down to miss the mark. I think it's just kind of obnoxious. I wish it was a little bit more subtle or applied in a different way. So I'm gonna have to go with miss the mark. The Qatar away kit is very simple, just straightforward with the white shirt with the Adidas stripes. I think you already know where this is going. There's almost nothing to say about it. It's boring. All right, up next we have Saudi Arabia with their home kit, and this one is really wild. I think that they really tried to do something unique here, and it is unique and it's fun, but it's just not really quite working for me. It feels a little too blocky, a little too all over. It's hard to find what exactly the pattern is, and I feel like that's kind of hurting the shirt when you're trying to work out exactly what you're looking at instead of just enjoying it. So for that reason, I think I'm gonna have to put it in miss the mark. Sorry, Saudi Arabia. Now the Saudi Arabia away kit, it's sort of like the Qatar away kit. I think it's a little bit better. There's the collar going on with the nice green and the gold, but it's not enough. It's nice, but it's more boring than nice. So boring. Unfortunately, I think we have two back-to-back boring tiers. This is the Scotland home jersey. I feel like it's trying to trick us into thinking that it's doing more than it actually is. The pattern that they have is just X's, like the X's that go through the Scotland flag, and the rest of the jersey is just doing the bare minimum. I'm sorry, but it's boring. Now the Scotland away jersey is the exact opposite of the home jersey. It's not boring at all. It's really eye-catching in my opinion. I think that the choice of the colors of the salmon pink with that kind of pastel violet purple, it's very nice color combination, especially with the white accent touches and the way that they kind of converted their national crest to reflect these colors is done very well. I think it's a lot of fun. You see stripes all the time, but you don't see stripes like these. This is really special, really fun. I think it's probably one of the best jerseys at this tournament, and so I'm gonna have to put it in perfect. All right, moving on to Senegal's home kit, and this is one of those ones where I'm gonna have to be a little harsh. I think it probably deserves to be in pulls it off, but I'm gonna move it down to does the job, just because the pattern that they go with, it's not working together the way that I feel like it should. It feels a little bit sporadic, and it feels like it wants to be bold and colorful, but they took the saturation out of it. It could have been so much more, and for that reason, I think I don't want to put it in miss the mark, because it definitely didn't miss the mark, but I'm just gonna have to put it in does the job. As for the Senegal away kit, I think it's not as good. The design down the middle is really strange, and then once the design is done, it's done. It's just solid green on the rest, which is really abrupt and weird. I think that they could have done a better job of implementing the yellow and red colors throughout it. It just feels like it was a first draft. For me personally, it's a big oof. All right, moving on to another African country, we have South Africa with their home kit made by Adidas. And I love this kit. This is so beautiful. Just green and yellow. You know, we've seen this before with Brazil and we've seen it with Australia, but they are doing it the best. The colors are just so bright. They're so, they're working well together. And the design, the pattern that they use is perfect. It's just consistent throughout the whole thing. It's not switching it up. It's not being obnoxious. It's just there and it's adding to the jersey. It's enhancing it. And I think it's amazing. I really wish that Brazil would take notes on something like this because I think they're trying to do too much. But South Africa is keeping it simple, keeping it fresh, and it looks great. I'm gonna put it in perfect. South Africa really know what they're doing with their jerseys because this away kit might even be better than their home kit, arguably. But this is just beautiful. The colors are great once again. We're with a darker green now and gold, which is a nice pairing, but I think the strength is really in the stripes here. The stripes are so interesting. It's not just solid stripes. The lighter stripes have kind of that same pattern that was in the home kit with the triangles, the lines, the overlapping triangle lines, alternating with the solid dark green stripes. I mean, I don't have to explain it to you. It's right there. It looks beautiful. I love the logo. I love the crest. And the collar is just a bonus as well. I love a nice collar with that white stripe in there. It's perfect. What can I say? All right, moving on to South Korea with a very interesting tiger design here from Nike. It's kind of strange, a little tacky, but I think they do it well, which helps. I think the positives and negatives kind of balance each other out on this one. It looks nice, but it looks kind of dumb in my opinion. I think it's doing the job. I think the floral lavender color and pattern on the South Korea away kit is less of a gimmick than the tiger stripes of the home kit. I actually really like this jersey. It keeps it simple, right? It's just that pattern all the way across. They don't switch it up on the sleeves. They don't do anything crazy with the collar or the sleeve trims. And for that reason, I think it goes in very nice. They're sticking to what works and they're doing it well. All right, moving on to Spain's home kit made by Adidas. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this one. It definitely has some interesting ideas in there, but it feels kind of forgettable in a way, especially compared to some of their more iconic jerseys in the past. Feels like they're kind of playing it a little safe, but trying to give you something to chew on, but it's not quite enough. I think overall, I'd say it's doing the job. Now, we've seen Spain get kind of crazy with their away kits in the past, and it's nice to see them kind of dial it back this time. And their away kit is actually really classy. I like what they're doing here with the kind of more maroon red and the more gold yellow. It's just classy. The colors are working well together. And it's, another example, one of those simplistic does work when you do it right. It's going to go in very nice. All right, Sweden's home kit. It's very nice, bright yellow with that bold blue. Definitely screams Sweden, but there's not a lot going on with this jersey, and I think ultimately it is boring. So I'm sorry, Sweden, it's gonna have to go in boring. All right, with the Sweden away kit, I do appreciate that they're trying something new here, and it's really, really close to working for me. I think the alternating shades of blue with the stripes is definitely the way to go, but I just don't care for the waviness of the stripes with those dots in the middle. It feels almost like kind of like cartoonish under the sea. I'm not sure. It's not the right vibe. It's very close, but it's not quite the right vibe. Just in my opinion, it's missed the mark. Up next, we have Switzerland's home jersey. it's fine. There's some sort of like waviness in the and textured throughout it, but I mean, when you look at it, it's red. It's just red, so it's gonna have to go in boring. But moving on to the Switzerland away kit, I think this one is pretty cool. I really like just the commitment to go neon with it and go somewhere totally different than what is on their flag, is what is usually associated with them. It's nice, and pairing it with that like navy denim-ish blue, really interesting choice that I think works well. Yeah, they definitely took a risk here, and they're pulling it off. All right, up next we have Tunisia's home kit made by Kappa, and they added like some feathers on the sleeves, and the collar is red, but it's not red all the way around. There's like a white stripe in the middle. There's just something off about this one. I'm not in love with the feathers, and the middle of the jersey is just solid white, absolutely nothing else. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to put it in boring. I'm sorry. All right, and the Tunisia away jersey follows the same template as the home jersey, and we've seen that several times. And usually I put both of those jerseys in the same tier because they're pretty much the same thing. But in this instance, I think that the away jersey is worse than the home jersey. Something about adding red to this design just makes it really disturbing, and I have trouble looking at it. I think it just isn't quite right. I can't exactly explain, but for me, it's going in big oof. All right, up next we have Turkey and their Nike home kit. Turkey usually have pretty boring jerseys. Something that is strange to me about them is that they don't have a crest for their national team, so they just have the flag. It seems like a fake jersey or something that like you like as a bootleg or something. And Nike doesn't really do them many favors with just really standard boring templates. And I know they're trying something here with this kind of like abstract swirly paint design, but it's boring. I'm sorry. And once again, the away shirt is even worse. I don't know, something about making the majority of the shirt that, you know, mixed paint design with the stripe being now solid, but all of it being red. It's just not working. It doesn't feel like it belongs on a jersey. Couldn't they have thought of something else for Turkey? Turkey definitely deserves better than this. It's just not it. It's a big oof. All right, up next we have Uruguay's home kit, also by Nike, and Nike can make some good jerseys when they add this collar, and they just play it simple. It's just a solid light blue jersey with a white collar, some black accents. I'm not crazy about the black accents, but they're fine. It's very simple, and it probably deserves to be in maybe does the job, pulls it off, somewhere in there, but I'm actually gonna bump it up to very nice, just because Nike didn't mess this one up. I'm proud of them. Speaking of Nike messing things up, here's the Uruguay away kit. And I'm gonna try not to be too harsh on this, but it is probably one of my least favorite kits at the tournament. I really just don't like this trend where jerseys try to be like this kind of new modern trendy style with the gradients and like the fluorescent badges and logos. Like, I feel like Chelsea tries to do it with their, you know, club shirts, and it's not aging well, but it doesn't even look good now. Like, compare this to the Paraguay one. I think the Paraguay one pulls it off, you know. I'm not crazy about it, but I think that's maybe the best version of it that there can be, while this is the worst. Like, are we trying to be Black Panther here? Like, I don't understand what it's supposed to be. It looks bad, and I should probably just stop talking about it. It's going in big oof. Up next, we have the United States, one of the host nations of this year's tournament. They actually didn't qualify for either of the last two tournaments, so this is kind of their big return to the World Cup, and I was hoping that a big return would inspire a big jersey, something that looks really nice, something special, and this just doesn't feel that special. It feels cheap. It's just kind of the flag, you know? It's not really pulling it off, but it didn't really miss the mark either. It kind of just is existing, and it's doing the job. As for the US away shirt, it's in some ways better, but also not as good. You know, They keep it simpler. There's like a subtle star pattern throughout it, but it's kind of hard to see those stars. I think in the end, I'm just gonna have to put this one in boring just because it's not doing a lot. All right, and up next we have Uzbekistan and their home shirt. I think it's all right. It's got potential there. They're also going for this pixely geometric design that we've seen a few other teams try to attempt. And I think Uzbekistan maybe does it better than some of them, but it's still not overly impressive. I'm just gonna have to put it in miss the mark, which might be a little harsh, but I feel like that's where it belongs. And I'm sorry to end the video in such an anticlimactic way, but the Uzbekistan away shirt is just the same template as the home shirt. I think it's in that realm of anywhere from boring to does the job. So I think it's just gonna fall into miss the mark. I think that's fair. All right, and that's it. That's all 96 jerseys from the World Cup this year, ranked into 7 tiers. Let me know what your favorite jerseys are and your least favorite. Also, let me know which ones you disagree with from me. Like, it's just subjective, it's just my opinion. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Have a good one.